Good afternoon, class. My name is Josh Hernandez, and if some of you may remember, I do work at T-Mobile, as I said so in my introductory video. And a typical day at work would include people obviously shopping for phones, but I do hear one question more than any question, and it's always about two different phones. So those two phones being the iPhone 6s and the brand new Samsung Galaxy S7. And a lot of times people don't really know the difference between the two. And this video is in no means an attempt to get you to buy either one of these phones. It's just more so to kind of inform you as to what's so special about the phones, since there is advertising and commercials and all types of ads and marketing campaigns for each of these devices. So let me just hop into it. This is going to be good information if you're looking to upgrade your phone, or if you know somebody looking to upgrade their phone, or even if you might just be thinking about upgrading one day. This is definitely good information, and I'll just go over some of the basic details on each of these phones. So this one here is my personal phone. This is a iPhone 6s. This is in the space gray color, which is pretty much black. I've had it for a few months, and I've had no complaints. The base model, which is the one that I have here, comes with 16 gigs of internal memory and 2 gigs of RAM. So RAM kind of just relates to how fast you can multitask, get out of one thing and into the next. Now, the more important things are probably going to be camera, which is something that all people are always kind of concerned about. So this one here in particular has a 12 megapixel rear camera and a 5 megapixel front facing camera. As far as speed and processing goes, it does have a dual core processor. It works really well. If any of you are familiar with the iPhone brand, then you know that they make really decent products. Now, the biggest complaint that we do have on these phones is that as far as storage goes, after a while, there is a server for storage and things like that called iCloud, and it works pretty much the same way that Google works on an Android phone, which I'll get into here in a little bit. And another thing is the battery life on it. Now, it does have a smaller battery as compared to some of the other phones that are out right now, but Apple's software does a really good job managing its efficiency as far as power goes. And one of the bigger concerns with this phone also is its lack of expandable memory options. So you can't throw a memory card in here. Apple doesn't allow it, but they do have different memory variants depending on your storage needs. So the base one that I have here, like I said, is only 16 gigs, but it goes all the way up to 128, and there is a 64 gig right in the middle. And as you can see, it's really, really slim. I don't ever walk around with it like this because people always tend to break iPhones. So I do have a slim case for it, and it's still really slim inside the case. So that's pretty sweet. And then let me just get into briefly the S7. This one here is my fiance's S7. It's not the S7 Edge, but it's still a really awesome phone. Now, this one does have twice the memory as the Apple phone does. So this one's got 32 gigs of internal memory. And you can also, you can also expand the memory if you chose to. You can put a memory card in there, and you also have cloud storage options, things like Dropbox and Google Photos. As far as inside of the phone, it's actually, on paper, it has twice the RAM as the iPhone does. Now, this one is Android based, whereas this one is Apple based. So the operating system on them are completely different. But either way, they're kind of easy to get used to. Androids are definitely more easy to customize and make them your own. And then also, as far as the screens go, I don't think I'd be able to show you here because of the glare. But the screen on the S7 is actually a little bit bigger than the one on the iPhone. And for those of you that are a little bit more reckless with your phones, the S7 is water resistant, so it can take some exposure to water. And they did upgrade the battery on it, so the battery is actually really good on these phones. Now, what does this information mean to you? Well, I guess it kind of just depends on what lifestyle you live, what's going to be more important to you. Now, I don't know if you can see it here. I'll try to use this phone to get the glare, but I do have an iPad, and that's where I do a lot of my, obviously, presentations and schoolwork and things like that. And this just kind of, it's really simple because once you're locked into iCloud, then you can do everything that you're doing on your phone, on your tablet. But the same can be said for Samsung. So with other Samsung products like Samsung Smart TVs and things like that, you can definitely sync between the two, and it's pretty seamless. So really, this video wasn't an attempt to kind of persuade you to buy one over the next, but I did kind of want to give you some facts. That way, the information is out there and it's a little bit easier to understand than if you were to pull them up separately on web pages or things like that. So that's pretty much all I have to present. And either way, you can't go wrong with either one of these phones. And there's tons of information online if you do decide that you want us to look further into one of them. And I appreciate your time. Thank you.